Good morning and welcome to Thought for the Day on Monday the 19th of December. The passage today is from Isaiah chapter 52 verse 13 to the end of chapter 53. The suffering and glory of the servant. See, my servant will act wisely. He will be raised and lifted up and highly exalted. Just as there were many who were appalled at him, his appearance was so disfigured beyond that of any human being, and his form marred beyond human likeness. So he will sprinkle many nations, and kings will shut their mouths because of him. For what they were not told, they will see, and what they have not heard, they will understand. Who has believed our message? And to whom has the arm of the Lord been revealed? He grew up before him like a tender shoot, and like a root out of dry ground. He had no beauty or majesty to attract us to him, nothing in his appearance that we should desire him. He was despised and rejected by mankind, a man of suffering and familiar with pain. Like one from whom people hide their faces, he was despised, and we held him in low esteem. Surely he took up our pain and bore our suffering, yet we considered him punished by God, stricken by him and afflicted. But he was pierced for our transgressions, he was crushed for our iniquities. The punishment that brought us peace was on him, and by his wounds we are healed. We all, like sheep, have gone astray, and each of us has turned to our own way, and the Lord has laid on him the iniquity of us all. He was oppressed and afflicted, yet he did not open his mouth. He was led like a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep before its shearers is silent, so he did not open his mouth. By oppression and judgment he was taken away. Yet who of his generation protested? For he was cut off from the land of the living. For the transgression of my people he was punished. He was assigned a grave with the wicked and with the rich in his death, though he had done no violence, nor was any deceit in his mouth. Yet it was the Lord's will to crush him and cause him to suffer. And though the Lord makes his life an offering for sin, he will see his offspring and prolong his days, and the will of the Lord will prosper in his hand. After he has suffered, he will see the light and be satisfied. By his knowledge, my righteous servant will justify many, and he will bear their iniquities. Therefore I will give him a portion among the great, and he will divide the spoils with the strong, because he poured out his life unto death, and was numbered with the transgressors, for he bore the sin of many, and made intercession for the transgressors. My daughter has a Christmas jumper with a stylized silhouette of the stable, containing Mary and Joseph and a manger with the baby Jesus. And the slogan says, spoiler alert, he dies. The truth is that the story of Easter has always been part of the story of Christmas, and it is our redemption that lies swaddled in the manger. At Christmas we sing carols like Silent Night, all is calm. Somehow, with hindsight knowing the significance of Christ's birth, we imagine in that pivotal moment in human history, all of creation paused and held its breath, waiting for the baby's first cry. The truth is, Bethlehem was overcrowded and chaotic, and when that little baby took his first cry, almost nobody noticed. Isaiah in this passage lays out God's plan for our salvation and our redemption. And it is not quite what we expect. With our human eyes, we expected a conqueror, not a carpenter, a sovereign, not a servant. We could not have imagined that God would send us his own son, wrapped in a plain brown paper wrapper. That he would send him to live a life not of ease, but of suffering. That he would allow him to be so afflicted and punished unjustly, for he had committed no sin. That he would allow him to go unrecognized and despised in order to accomplish his purposes. C.S. Lewis says this: "When Christ died, he did not die for societies or states, not for the impersonal masses of humanity, not even for men, but for each man and woman individually. If we alone were the only being created, he would have done no less. Once you understand that his death was for you and me individually, then watching the stripes inflicted upon his back and seeing the nails driven through his flesh places some serious demands on us. When we read this passage again and make it personal, it becomes very much more poignant. Surely he took up my pain and bore my suffering, yet I considered him punished by God, stricken by him and afflicted. But he was pierced for my transgressions, he was crushed for my iniquities. The punishment that brought me peace was on him, and by his wounds I am healed. I, like a sheep, have gone astray. I have turned to my own way, and the Lord has laid on him all my iniquity." Wow. Making it personal requires from us a personal response. However other people respond, we need to respond personally. It is up to us to ensure that there is no part in our lives, in our hearts, where he goes unnoticed like he did in Bethlehem that first Christmas evening. Lord, I pray that today, in my own life and in my heart, there will be no area where I allow you to be unrecognized and despised. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.